Hello friends, I'm Donna Kato. Welcome to my channel. Now this is part 2 of a series of mud cloth canes I'm going to be making. Now I did a big mud cloth cane class for Craft Art EDU, but you know that class was sold. I cannot give away the content, but I can design new content that everyone can enjoy. And so that's what this class is. It's actually part 2, as I said. So here is the actual pattern we'll be making. It's this border. Bullseye canes, alternating color between this yellow and this sort of browny copper. So I'm just going to make one motif. I'm not going to make two. Because of course, if you want this alternating color, you got to make 2 canes. Okay? And today I just feel like making one. So let me move on to this screen. Now, if you look at this screen, you can see the colors that are required. We've got color number 1. This is color number 1. Okay, and what color number 1 is 2 ounces of brown. Let me put this all here and lift this so you can actually see it. 2 ounces of brown mixed with 1/2 ounce of copper. Color number 2, which is this, is 2 ounces of yellow and 1/4 ounce of copper. You're going to need white and you're going to need black. So the approximate volumes are approximately 3 ounces of color 1 and 2. It's approximate. Approximately 9 1/4 ounces of number 3, and approximately 1 3/4 ounces of white. I expect to have clay left over. Okay, so you can take a look at this and you can see that I kind of tried to map out what's happening in the individual motif. And what made the most sense to me was that essentially this black field would be best if I made it a big square, like so, and cut the sides off. Okay. Now each of the corners then is filled in with one of these 2 colors, and we've got them at opposite corners, like so. So this is the way I came up with the approximate volume of clay I believe I use or I need. And I don't run out of clay, but I'm going to guess you guys do. You know, I happen to be lucky. I happen to be surrounded by clay. I never run out of clay. But assuming that that's true for you is not a correct assumption. And so I think it is important that I do my very best to make sure that you have enough clay, that you have some idea of how much clay you need. Now, I'm not a huge caner. I'm not a minute micro caner. There are people who will fall at both ends of the spectrum. I'm someplace in the middle. But mostly because I've had the luxury of having a lot of clay, I don't much think about it. I don't much think about the volume of clay. I'm going to have to start doing that. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the corners first. Once we get everything together, then we can do our trimming. We can trim the motif. So let me cut here and make sure that I'm ready for the next step. Okay, so I've already made this one, but I believe that the easiest way for me is to make a whole square and then cut it in half and cut that in half to create the corners. Now, this means that I have twice the amount of clay I need, actually, right? So if you decide that you want to do it another way, in other words, just taking half this volume and making a triangle and cutting it in half, you can certainly do that. But for me, it's easier to start big and just cut it and then set the excess aside. Okay, so let's begin by making the big block. The big block. Okay, and I'm going to do my best to keep my hands right there. Whoops. All right, let's roll it up. Okay. A little too smooth. And now I'm just going to smush it down so that it's about 2 inches tall. Like so. And I would like it to be the same size as the other one. So that's the goal anyway. Okay, so let's square this off. And I'm going to take my little acrylic brayer and roll it back and forth like that to flatten one side and hopefully pull the corners out a bit. That's not bad. This one's a little smaller, just a tiny bit smaller. I want to draw the corners out. Okay, good deal. Very good deal. I'll live with that. I will live with that, although there should actually be more of this color clay than the copper, but I think that's good. That is good. All right, so now I'm going to cut the corners. What I'm going to do is take this and then do the Sandra McCall walkie-walkie down the sides. Left, right, left, right, left, and just slowly walk it down. Okay, now I'm going to repeat, cutting from the other corner to the other corner. Now, if I were making both canes with the both colored bullseye centers, then of course I would have 2 for one cane and 2 for another, but I'm not doing that, so I'm setting these aside. I may change my mind. I may do that later. Just gently separate those like so. And let's start again here. Set these aside. And these two are the ones I'll use. Okay, so now I have my 4 corner pieces. I now have to make the center. And so it doesn't get away from me, I'm going to go back to my drawing. Now, this is actually roughly the size I'm going to end up with. If I just take and put the pieces on, this is roughly the size, okay, I'm gonna end up with. So I'm making it to size here. So I know that that center is going to have to be that particular size. So let me grab just a little bit of that other color. Okay, I'm going to make it this brighter yellow because I like it. Chances are you'll have some left over, or you could cut it from here, because you do have some extra. So let me roll a cylinder that is the same diameter and, of course, the same length. Now, caning to a pattern, it's not something I do a lot, but it's not a bad idea, especially if you're just beginning. So let's take the white. I am back, and you know what? I was gonna pick up the white, and it was wrong. It was wrong. I need to pick up the black, don't I? Because let's look at our pattern again. That's not white around the center, that's black. All right, so I've rolled this and textured it through the thickest setting in the pasta machine. I think by now you have seen that process enough to know. Okay, so we're just gonna wrap it around. Kind of went off kilter here. So let's do it. Okay, there's one wrap, and clearly that's not enough. So let's wrap it again. And you know, the wraps inside, of course, they don't have to be textured. They can be anything. I'm just going to take and roll some black. All right. Oh, where's my handy, trusty, wonderful ruler? Here it is. Just gonna cut a strip here. Go away. All right, let's rip. And I will compare, but I do believe it's not quite big enough yet. Nope. Let's do another wrap. Another wrap. And that's not even quite big enough, I don't believe. I think I need a thinner one. So that's what I'm going to do. Might as well try to make it as close as possible. I'm going to try anyway. Make it a little bit. All right. Now let's see. All right, that's the size. Okay, now let's take the white clay. It's still cold in my basement. I'm wearing like a down sweater. But at least I don't have my heater blasting. Okay, let's take a look at the thickness of that white around the bullseye. That's very thick, isn't it? Very thick. I think that's good though, see? Very good. All right, so that's the thickness. Roll this through setting number 0. There we go. Texture. Texture. Now, of course, all this texturing is optional. I just happen to really like the way it looks when it's not, when the lines are not absolutely perfect and perfectly smooth. You may have a different idea. Okay, see, I've left over white, so that was way more white than we needed, wasn't it? Okay, I'm going to take some black, and let's start wrapping around. Okay, so the first one, I am going to texture. Now, I probably should have textured that last black wrap. Bad me, but I'm not taking it apart now. Bad me, bad me. Okay, roll through. Okie dokie. let's compare. And I have quite a bit of wrapping to do around. I would estimate maybe 3 more wraps to fill the sides in here, but I'm going to need a lot more to fill the top and the bottom. This area, and then this area up there. Oops. So I'm going to continue wrapping, and then I will be back. So I've done a bunch of wraps, but this is all the black clay I have left, and I have to fill in this top area and this area on the bottom right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mark the sides where I think I'm gonna have to cut some off. There. And on this side, so I think I'm going to make it, but it may be a little tight. Sometimes it just seems like you just need more. More. So I'm going to cut along here, make this piece fit in there, and then I will take all of this clay and try to build up those corners. Okay. Now this is a case where I think I will just drop the line down so I don't go too far afield. It can happen. Okay, that looks good. Same thing here. I'm just taking my blade and then dropping it straight from the top to the bottom. Repeat on the other side, like so. Then turn and connect the pieces where they meet, all right? Now I'm going to walk the blade down the actual line that I indicated on the side, like so. Okay, now let me do the other side. You know, this didn't seem like such a big cane to me, but it's growing. It's kind of growing. All right, well, oops, don't want to look at the layers, so you see, that's what we have now. So I just have to build these corners up a bit. So let me try to do that. Now, I think the best way is going to be to take and to cut smaller and smaller pieces. Here, let me see if I can demonstrate this. And I'm going to indicate where the center is, like that. And now I will take a piece, put it down like so, and hope that that is big enough. It's going to be close. Should probably be a bit larger. Cut 2. Try to find the center and stretch it all the way over both sides. Take this in the center like so. Ooh, I hope we make it. It's getting like to the point where I have to take all these little bits. Little bits. Like so. So now I will cut a slightly smaller piece like this one. The one I originally cut, lay this on top, lay it on the bottom, cut the excess away. Oh, let me take this and see if I can make this one work. Might be a bit too small, so I'll have to take another piece like this. Roll it to the pasta machine and try to fill that corner in like so. Gonna be tight, folks. Gonna be very tight. Maybe I needed 10 ounces of black. Okie dokie. All right, let me compare and see if I can make this happen. Okay, I can. I can. I feel it in my bones. Now I'm going to take from there, right there, and cut there. Right along here, and cut here. Now let's look at the other side. On there and cut there and cut there. So I will shave off these and then I will be back. All right, so I cut the excess off, and I should have shown you that actually, but you can see it wasn't difficult to do. Once you make the mark, then you just cut straight down and you cut slowly and you just shave bits away. You don't have to cut huge amounts of clay away. All right, so I'm just going to finish the trimming. Like so. And I know that this is the kind of thing that can be a little intimidating when you first start, but really don't be afraid. Just, you know, just don't cut too much, and you will find that it's actually pretty easy and it's nothing to be frightened of. Okay. So this is pretty smooth. Got a little issue there, I think. I don't know if you can see that. It's quite deep, and the only way I could actually take care of it, there are two ways. One is to cut more and keep cutting until I cut to the lowest part. but then I would have to cut everything else. So I'm going to take a piece, I'm going to roll it through, kind of a thin setting number 5. And I'm going to take this piece of clay and just fill that space in like so. Okay. Trim. And press it in. Then take the blade and trim away again. And I will be leaving clay behind, and the clay that I leave behind will fill the space. Okay, I have to do a bit more trimming. So if you find yourself with those spots, then just take a little sheet of clay and press it in, and then trim the excess away again. Okay, so that's better. And this I can smooth. I couldn't have done that before, not in that circumstance. Okay, so I might have to do that here, maybe just a little bit there, and maybe just a little bit there. So you saw me do it here. I will do it on these other spots, and I'll be back. Now, I thought I had followed the pattern very closely, and I think I did. But because I'm using this program, I suspect that maybe there was a little bit of this going on. And to my eye, just looking at it, this bullseye looks smaller than this one in the field. In other words, it looks like there's less black around this bullseye than this one. So I'm going to trim off more because I want the bullseye to be larger in that field of black clay. Okay, I just want it to be bigger. Right now it's looking a little bit small. The distance from this edge to the edge of the bullseye is much smaller to me as I'm looking at it than it is in my black clay. So I am going to trim these sides away, just here, 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 and here, and that will make the bullseye larger in the pattern. Okay, so I don't think I need to show you that, or do I? Because I didn't show you before, but I will show you. It's the old drop the line from the edge of the cut. So you see here's where I'm cutting, and here is the end of the cut. So I will drop the line. Then I flip it over and I connect them to make sure that it's right on this side as well as this side, and they look the same. So I will now do that same cut. Take it down, 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 down. All right. Now I'm going to continue, and then when I've cut here, 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 I will be back. All right, I trimmed all of that excess off, and I think that's better. The pattern, the bullseye will be larger in that black field. I could make it, if I wanted to, I could cut more away and make it even bigger, but I will leave it at this point. Now let's take these corners and put them in place. Okay. All right, So if I leave it like this, what's going to happen is this black will be cut off, and this space between the two is going to be that large. Okay, now that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but let's consult our pattern again. Okay, actually we're going to look at the original. Now in the original you can see that this black space between is not all that large. It really isn't that big. Okay, so also, let me take a look. It was actually, I believe, no, it was this way. This way. So if I want to make this opening smaller, then I can drop this down further like this. Then I will trim this excess black away and then trim this away, but the opening will be smaller. And I think I prefer that. I think I want less black, not more. So by cutting this, I will reduce the black field on the sides. And that's good. I would rather do that. Okay, so I'm going to check both sides, make sure that I'm putting them on straight and not crooked. The other ones, these then are positioned in the corners like so. And I want to make sure that this opening is the same on both sides. Okay, so let me put these on the way I want them on one side. That's good, it's straight. And see how big this is. It is a little less than 1/4 of an inch. A bit shy of 1/4 of an inch, so maybe that. Let me mark right there. What did I just draw? Okay, I'm going to put this guy right there. And then put this one over on this side. Okay. Now I have to say this looks bigger. Let's see if I cut there and I cut there. How is that gonna look? I think I need to stretch this one out a bit more. Also, one side is a bit larger than the other. Let me check these other two pieces I have. Maybe they're a little bit larger. Maybe this will be a better fit. I would rather have too much than not enough, because I can always cut away any excess. Of course, I can fill in spaces that might be too small, but just generally speaking, I find it easier to have an excess of clay that I then can cut away. Okay, so let's do it. Now I'm going to slice away the excess. Cut that. Where's my excess black clay? Oh, here it is. Try to keep track. Okay. Start by just getting rid of these big parts of excess clay. Now, you know what? I'm gonna pull this down. You see how it flares out, like it was flared out this way? Well, I think it's better if I just pull it down a bit and fill the corner, because it wasn't filling the corner as the other ones are. Pull up to fill the corners, pull up. Maybe pull this away a bit, which will make it a little easier to slice this side. Oh, my heater just went on. Not the little heater at my feet, but the house heater. Okay, so that's, you know what, that's not too bad. This is not great here, but I will just simply have to slice this whole side. Yes, I will. Okay, now let's slice here. And a bit more. Okay, Clay, how you doing? Okay. Now, in the old days, I would have taken and squished the sides like that, and it, you know, the pattern gets a little wonky when you just carelessly, as I used to do, squish. This time, I'm going to slice. Gonna slice just a bit. See, I have a nice clean side. Now let me slice this side. That's a pretty good looking side too. Now let's do these long sides. Okay, here we go. And just take your time and slice small bits away until you get, see, I have more slicing to do because of this edge. Turn it over, and I'll just continue slicing away till I get to a nice, clean, flat, and smooth side. Maybe I'm having to cut away a little more than I would like, but sometimes it just happens that way. So we do what we have to do. And that's really not too bad. I can kind of smooth that down like so. Okay. Now I have one last side to trim. So that's not too bad. I think I will live with that. Take my, whoops. And I'm going to have to reduce it. But before I do, I want to talk about something. I got a wonderful gift this week. This is called The Boss. And it was a wonderful gift from Lynn. Thank you so much, Lynn. I love it. I don't know how I got along without it. And it is sold by Tiny Pandora. If you guys need something like this, it is phenomenal. I beat up a lot of clay this morning. Okay, so I just wanted to say that because I really appreciate it. Okay, everybody, I'm gonna start reducing, and you know what? You don't have to watch. It's just, I start like this all the time. Okay, just by flattening the face of the cane down to my work surface, like so. Okay, so I'm going to continue working on this, and then I'll be back. Well, I'll be back at some point when the during the reduction. I won't just come back when it's all done. Okay, so I've reduced it out like this, and you can see the center area has pulled back in. But you know, at some point, I guess I just decide I'm gonna go on, and then there's gonna be waste at the end, and so be it. And that's what I did. This is now my handle for pulling on. As long as the clay inside is soft and it's moving, what this means is that the pattern will be larger, which I guess isn't such a terrible thing. So I do a lot of this at this point. Now, can you see the clay is very, see, I can push it in and out like that. And that also helps with reduction, compressing and then stretching. Compress and stretch, compress and stretch. And as long as the clay is soft, you will not break it. It will slowly pull out. And this also helps, I find, the twisting motion like so. Now, I know that there are people who will wait until a cane is, you know, they'll make a cane and then they let it sit overnight. I don't do that. I just start the reduction right away. I find that for me, it works better that way. So the best way to figure out what works for you is to try many things, because there are many polymer artists and we don't all do things the same way, do we? Okay, I'm twisting and stretching. I do a lot of this too because the stretching action actually will straighten out lines like that. You get it moving evenly, then the lines get very straight, and that also makes it quite a bit easier to reassemble a cane after you've cut it and you've got to put it back together again. Now I will continue. I want this to be maybe about half of its current size. And then we will cut it and reassemble it. Okay. So I reduced it more. I didn't make it quite half the size, but that's how long it is. So let's cut to a reasonably good part of the cane. Cut, cut, and it's going to take a while, I believe, to get there. And I think that even though it's not round, it's, you know, squashed oval, I'm going to keep it there because I will be reducing it further. And you know what? You always lose the end, right? So let's do the other side. Okay. Now, this turned oval. I think it's obvious the reason why, because the cane originally was not square, was it? It was rectangular. And the process of reducing, through the process of reducing, I actually made it square. So let's cut this into 4 pieces, approximately 3 inches each. Now, you know, when you put it back together, you want to try to make sure that this line matches up. Okay, so let's start at this end, put it like so, and just try to bring it back up straight. It's a little difficult to see, but just do your best. That's all I do, is my best. This is a bit short, so I'll start at this end. Hard to see. So this is the good end, the good side, and the other is the bad, or the not as good side. Okay, so let's flatten and flatten again. You know what? I'm going to keep making it flatter, and as I make it flatter, I'm hoping that the bullseyes will actually get rounder. And you see, because what I'm doing now is, of course, turning these pieces back to rectangles from the squares they had become. I like this pattern very much. All right, let me take a clean cut. I need a longer blade. I wonder where all my really long blades are. This little guy, I like this blade, but it's a little short. Okay, so there is our mudcloth border cane. And this is the end of part 2. I'm not going to do anything with it in this tutorial. I'm kind of building up a supply of different mudcloth canes, and then once I have a good supply going, then I will come back and we will start using them to build various things with them. So I hope you enjoyed the class. I hope you learned something from it. And if you liked it and if you enjoyed something, then I hope you will subscribe. And that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Thank you for coming. I'm Donna Kato. Until we meet again, goodbye.